Alright guys, today we're going to talk about absolute value expressions and equations and how to solve those. So steps to solve: make sure the absolute value expression is isolated. That means it's by itself. That means there's not a 2 times something in absolute value, or it's not divided by, or there's not a plus or minus on that side of the equation. Isolated means the absolute value is by itself. Set the inside equal to both the positive and negative number from the other side of the equation. Solve both sides. Write an answer as a solution set. So you're going to write it as a solution set here as an XY, or your solution set, if you'll have 2 answers since you had 2 equations. So you're going to have your solutions in your solution set. So let's look at what that looks like here. So I'm going to move this up just a little. And we're going to look at example 1. So example 1 says the absolute value of x is 2. So I need to look and say the absolute value is isolated. So I'm going to set I'm going to set x equal to 2 and x equal to -2. All right, so this one didn't have anything to solve. All we did was set what's inside the absolute value to both the positive and -2, because absolute value, if you remember, is distance from 0. So if I go to the right, I go +2. If I go to the left, I go to -2. So my solution set is 2 and -2. And I'm always going to write my negative first. So I'm going to put -2 and 2. All right, number 2 is just as simple. So I'm going to write m equals the positive of this, and m equals the negative of that. And again, I'm going to write this as a solution set. And that means those 2 numbers, when plugged in, will give me 14. So if I take the absolute value of -14, that equals 14. If I take the absolute value of 14, that also equals 14. All right, let's move down and look at a couple more. All right, if you look at number 3, now you have the absolute value of 5z equals 40. So we're going to say 5z equals 40, and 5z equals -40. All right, and I'm going to solve each one of these. And when I do that, that gives me my solution set. Again, I'm going to write my negative number first and my positive number next. All right, so make sure these are the brackets and not parentheses. Parentheses makes it look like an ordered pair. It's not an ordered pair. It's 2 solutions to this absolute value equation. So if I take 8 and plug in 8, 5 times 8 is 40. The absolute value of 40 is 40. If I take -8, 5 times -8 is -40. But the absolute value of -40 equals 40. So those are both solutions to this equation. All right, I've got -7a equals 28, and -7a equals -28. Again, solve both equations. I'm going to do that at the same time here. All right, a positive divided by a negative is a negative. And a negative divided by a negative, 2 negatives, when you multiply or divide, is a positive. And my solution set is -4 and 4. All right, now these have all been just the same number, opposite signs. Now we're going to look at how that can change a little bit. So don't think those are always going to be just opposite signs. I'm going to move this down. All right, so the next one says d plus 1 equals 8. D plus 1 is isolated, so we're going to set that equal to positive and negative. So d plus 1 equals 8. D plus 1 equals negative 8. Subtract 1. D equals 8 minus 1 is 7. And here's where the numbers switch up a little. Negative 8 minus 1. So I spent 8. I spent 1 more. I've spent $9. Negative 9. All right, so my solution set, negative 9 and positive 7. All right. Number 6, w minus 3 equals positive 4, and w minus 3 equals negative 4. Opposite of negative 3 is plus 3. W equals 4 plus 3, which is 7. Add 3. W equals negative 1. So my solution set is negative 1 and positive 7. All right, again, you can plug these in and check them. It's not a bad idea to do that, especially if you're not sure if you've done something correctly or not. But very quickly, you can plug this back in. Negative 1 minus 3 is negative 4. The absolute value of negative 4 is 4. That works. So the first one works. 7 minus 3 is 4. The absolute value of 4 is 4. So those work. Okay, so just kind of check yourself. Make sure that you are doing everything correctly. All right, number 7, 4n plus 2. This is isolated, equals 34. So we're going to set that up. As 4n. Okay, give me just a minute. My pen is not working. All right, let's see if my pen will work now. All right, I went ahead and wrote these down. 4n plus 2. The 4n plus 2 does not change. The only thing that changes is the sign on the opposite side. So 34 and negative 34. So I'm going to subtract 2. Just solving an equation at this point. 34 minus 2, 32. This is just some review from equations before. That's not m, that should be an n. N equals 8. All right, negative 34 minus 2 is negative 36. And 4n to negative 36 is going to go 9 times. And since that's negative, that will be negative 9. And my solution set will be negative 9 and positive 8. That's a negative 9. All right, now we're going to switch to red just to keep the two problems separate here. So I've already got it written down. Again, the left side stays the same. It's isolated. That doesn't change, but I'm going to set it equal to 17 and negative 17. That's the absolute value, goes in two directions, and that's what we're solving for both just because of looking at it on the number line. So bring down my negative 2v. 17 plus 5 is 22. And then divide both sides by negative 2. A positive divided by a negative is going to make that negative 11. All right, negative 5, so I need to add 5 to both sides. Negative 17 plus 5 is negative 12. And V equals a negative divided by a negative. Multiply or divide two negatives, you get a positive. So my solution set will be negative 11 and 6.